Hello, and welcome to the stream tonight. As I've mentioned on Twitter, this is the first time doing a stream in a long time. So the first thing to check is that can anybody out there hear me? So I'm coming to that, Maurice. I'm coming to that. Can you just first of all, okay? So you can confirm I can be heard. So that's a good start. Okay. So as Maurice has just pointed out, my Windows license has expired on this VM. Absolutely. So this is the first time that I've booted this machine in I don't even know how long. It's been a while, right? So I need to rebuild this VM. So I fully expect that this VM is going to reboot itself during the stream. At least once, possibly twice, depending on how long we go. So that's just a little bit of pre-warning so that when it happens, because there's not an if, it's when it happens. So why have we not been doing a stream? A couple of reasons. I've been doing a fair bit of traveling recently before the whole coronavirus explosion. I was in the States for a couple of weeks, so that didn't allow me to do any streaming while I was there. My Friday streams before that, things were quite busy and hectic at work, so I didn't get a chance to do my Friday streams over a lunchtime. But I think things are settling down now. I'm not planning on doing any traveling, mainly because nobody's doing any traveling, I don't think, in the near future. So if not self-isolating, then just generally not a good idea to travel at the minute. Hey Arthur, welcome to the stream, and thank you for the welcome back. So tonight's stream, I have a couple of ideas. I mean, I kind of have no fixed agenda for tonight. I've got a couple of things I would like to try and attack. So in kind of a rough order, there is Arthur, who's on the stream, sent in a PR to GitReleaseManager. So I would like to look at potentially getting that merged in and released, because I think that is something that will help him with the work that he's doing on Git version. There is another task, which is the Aberdeen developers.co.uk website. So I am a founding member of a local .NET user group here in Aberdeen. This is the website at the minute. It's very basic, but it does what it does. But as you'll notice, it hasn't been updated for a while. The main reason that it hasn't been updated in a while is because the website itself uses Octopress, which under the hood uses Ruby and other such fun things, which means it's not particularly easy to build the website. So basically, Octopress is a static website generator, but it's not the easiest beast to wrangle. So I've been working on converting this to use YAM instead. So similar to the work that I did for Git version, which was to convert its website to use YAM for its documentation, I've done the same thing for the Aberdeen Developers.net user group website. Now, that work is essentially done. I finished that last night, but the build process isn't working, and I can go into details of that in a while. So I'd like to get that shipped potentially. And there is also the other impending release of Chocolatey GUI. It's been on the cards for a long time. I was speaking to Maurice about this the other night, actually, and it's over 2 years since the last release. So we need to get that out the door. So I'm building up to getting that done. Whether I do that on a stream or whether I do that offline, I might have to do that offline just because of the way that the build goes together. So I might have to do that offline, but that's on my near to-do list to get that shipped. I would dearly love to get it shipped. There's lots and lots of new features in there, not least some additional translations into different languages. So I would dearly like to get that out the door. It probably won't be on this stream. And there's one other thing that I was meant to be working on, I think. It might come to me. So where I was thinking I was going to start was the the PR that Arthur had done into GitReleaseManager to get that done. The security issue on the extension. So that is what I'm kind of where I'm trying to go, Maurice, is I want to get some of these bigger ticket items shipped. So I want to get the website out of the way. I want to get GitReleaseManager out of the way so I can unblock Arthur, and then the idea is to come back to the Chocolate VS Code extension and get that done, because there's still a chunk of work to be done there. So I want to have a run at that. So that's kind of my thought process there. I'm going to try and get logged into GitHub here, because obviously it's been a while and I need to get logged in. So it went there. So let's see if I can get I'm still doing okay with my New Year's resolution, which was to not release any personal tokens or anything onto the stream, which was good. Mainly because I haven't been doing streams, so that's a big part of it. But I have been still making a vested interest or an invested attempt at doing that. So I still haven't done it yet, which is good. And I see that Kim's just joined the stream as well. Hello, Kim. Long time no virtually speak. I hope you are good. I hope you're all good. In fact, I didn't say. I hope none of you have been infected or affected, maybe a better word, by any of this corona stuff. Things are starting to get a little bit real over here. There's word of website. I'll be right back. I'll put my token in and I'll finish that thought process. 2 seconds. Okay, that's been good. So Kim saying he's not infected. So far, so good. Absolutely. So yeah, they're starting to discuss the potential of closing schools and things here. And I know that some of the schools in the States have started to delay the return from the spring break. So I think that's a way to happen in the UK soon as well. So this was the pull request that Arthur put in to GitReleaseManager. So what this was attempting, so let me summarize what this is. Normally, the workflow for GitReleaseManager is you use GitReleaseManager to create a draft release, which includes a set of release notes, and that set of release notes is generated as from a milestone by looking at what issues are associated with that milestone, or you can generate a draft release from an input file. So you can have an input file that has the release notes there and you can generate them all. And then the workflow normally goes, you create the draft, you make sure it's all happy, and then subsequently you publish the draft release, which then kicks off another part of the process, i.e. tagging the repository, etc., etc. So the workflow that Arthur wants to follow is slightly different in the sense that it's maybe here. Currently, in order to create a stable release, I have to create a release manually and push it to origin. Then I need to create an empty release with a tag and description that is a draft. Then I have to trigger a build that will take care of the stable artifacts. And then, so essentially what he wants to be able to do is to allow the updating of a published release on GitHub. Now, when myself and Kim was going through that process, we specifically put in code that said, if you are attempting to update a non-draft release, it's not allowed, because normally a published release is immutable because it's already gone. The workflow Arthur is following slightly different in the sense that he wants to be able to update a published release for good reasons, right? So we had a conversation on Slack a couple of days ago, and what we suggested was that this is something that can be allowed, but it's something that goes against the default workflow and what is recommended with GitReleaseManager. But what we can do instead is that if a person opted into it specifically through configuration, then that is something that we can do. So here we can see that Arthur has added a configuration option into the config class, which is allow update publish release, allow update publish release, and so right here we said in the code base we say if the release is not a draft, throw an exception. So what we're doing instead is if, and this is the Boolean logic that always gets in my head, if we're not a release, if we're not a draft release, and we're not configuration create allow update publish release, and we don't throw an exception, we carry on. So that seems to make sense to me. So let's have a quick catch up in the chat, and then we'll see about getting this merged and potentially shipped. In Amsterdam, all schools, pubs, restaurants are closed. See, that's a biggie. Now Boris, Mr. Johnson over here, was talking about that sort of thing coming into play but not being enforced. So we're on the verge of things like that as well. Every Norwegian is strongly encouraged to keep themselves at home. All events are cancelled, stores are closed, as well as schools and so on. Well, most stores is probably. Okay, stupid question. What about food and groceries and the essentials? If all the stores are closed, or are you talking like closed stores and the like? I'm assuming that supermarkets are still open, that you can still purchase food. Otherwise, how does that work? And that was a question directed to Kim, by the way. Okay, so groceries are considered critical, so they're still open. Whew. I got a shock there because my heater just turned on in the background. Okay, so this seems good to me. There's a slight additional change that I'd like to make, which is to include some documentation around that new configuration option. But we can pull down Arthur's changes and make a slight update and then get this pulled in, I think. So if I cd into C, GitHub, organizations, Git tools, Git release manager, Git remote -v, let's see where we are there. So let's go to here. And let's grab this guy. Back to here. So Git remote add R. I always get his username wrong. Artur. Let's do that. So Git fetch upstream. Git rebase upstream develop. Git push origin. And let's make this a little bit smaller so that we can see it past my head. Git gut. Git fetch Artur. And let's see where we're at with this PR. I'm going to assume that it's kind of off the head of develop, which it is. I'm going to say no to that, and we'll do that later because I'm away to rebuild this VM anyway, so I don't need to update that. Okay, in which case, let's have a quick look in here, and let's have a look in the config.cs, which is where the change was being made. So Arthur added in a new, I haven't fetched it, git checkout, what was the name of the branch? Feature, git checkout feature 214, let's do that. So allow update switch, yes, Who have we got here? We've got Jan's just come in. Hello, Jan. How's it going? Good evening. Greetings from Germany. Thanks again for the gift. Yes, not a problem at all. I should mention who else is in here. So I know that Maurice got his T-shirts. I know Jan got his T-shirts. And who else? I sent some to Kim as well. Kim, has your ones arrived yet? I hope they all made it safely. Because yeah, I don't think the woman in the post office likes me very much. I'll be honest. I went there with five parcels to 5 different countries, and her face just sort of dropped when I said I've got one going to Austria, to Switzerland, to Germany, to Amsterdam, Australia, and then I came back the next day with one for Norway. So it she wasn't very happy with. I went back today to send another one to Germany. What's his name? Daniel on Twitter asked if he could get one as well after he saw Jan's post about it. So I sent out some T-shirts to lots of different places. Exactly. Spreading some chocolatey goodness throughout the world. So Kim, hopefully your one arrives soon. Your one did go out slightly later than everyone else, so hopefully it'll arrive soon. And Steve, Stevie mentioned that I brought some when I was in Topeka last week before. I brought some Iron Brew so that the Americans that haven't tasted it could have some taste of Iron Brew. And I think the upshot was that everyone enjoyed it. So I didn't hear any complaints. They might have been complaining about it when I wasn't listening, but I think they all quite enjoyed it. Children from critical jobs, healthcare, police, and a lot more, and teachers should still go to school. They will get some education. Children from other jobs should get homeschooled, and if possible, from teachers at school via some conferencing. See, that's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen in the UK in terms of that schooling at the minute. We have to wait and see what Mr. Johnson and Nicola Sturgeon say about that. See, I might hurt your feelings here, Stevie, but I don't think I've tried sweet tea ever, because I don't like hot tea. I know it's not the same thing, but I don't see the appeal. I maybe should have tried some when you had that crate of sweet tea in the office, but yeah, it just doesn't appeal. It really doesn't. Maybe next time. So Arthur, I was going to make a slight change to this property that you had here. We did have a little, or rather, you say we. It was more of a Stevie palette, I think. I kind of want to put a little word in here, Arthur, which is allow update to published release. It's a small point, but I think I'm going to need to leave it in like that. So I'm going to update where this is used, which is allow update to publish release. And you sure if palette itself? And I'm going to put allow update to publish release, and I'm going to put that in there. So just a slight modification, and as a result, I'm going to need to update the YAML for that, which was somewhere. Let's have a look at the PR again. So the PR was over here. That's in the create config class. So that was back here. Allow update to published. Okay, so if we do a search for SHA section line format, that should hopefully take us to the section of the documentation, which is here. And, ooh, that's a good question. Now, that's a Boolean, so that should flow through into the create as a false. So that should go into the default here. So I'm going to say that this is going to be, grab this. Copy it. I'm going to paste this into here. And I'm going to say that this is going to be false. And then create options. I'm getting lots of notifications popping up, but I don't think it's related to what I'm doing so far. So that's fine. I'm going to add in this, which is going to be what I had on my clipboard. And I'm going to put this in. Boolean value, which indicates that that indicates whether or not updates can be applied to published releases. Applied to, and then for some reason this is all the way over here, published releases. The default value is false. And we're going to say note, we're going to grab this and we're going to put it down here. I'm going to paste that. This configuration option was added in version. That's a good question. What version are we currently working on? This is, close that. That's there. This is going to be milestone 0.11.0. It's not what I wanted to do. Milestones. No, that was. I'll come back to that comment in a second, Maurice. Let me just fix what I did here. I'm going to put that in there. Take it out again. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. Yep, so I pushed the wrong button. So I think we're good now. So we might have to bump some of these, because I want to get this one out so that I can enable Arthur to continue doing the work that he's doing. So that's that. And then, where did that go? That was this one. So this is the one that we're working on. So this is 214. So all I'm doing here, so this is going to go into 11. So all I'm doing here is GH214. I have updated the property name, updated that, and added some documentation. Slight changes to implementation. Change property name to, let's get the value so I don't have to type it out. And added documentation for new. I'm going to say that that's in there for a new parameter. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do git push to Arthur. Oh, I forgot about Maurice's comment. What was it? You have two spaces between your dot and the. Two spaces between the dot and the. This one here. You're talking about these two spaces? 1, 2. So So I was always taught, other people aren't following it. I was always taught at school that it was 2 spaces after a full stop. Not 1. That's the way I always roll. But I noticed that it's not being followed everywhere. So, fine. Let's make it 1 for just now, shall we? Let's do a doc change. Doc. Removed extra spaces. Fine. And let's do a git push to Arthur again. So that those, because I added Arthur's remote, those should flow through into the PR automatically. And then that should kick off the CI builds. And then assuming the CI builds all work, which there's no reason it shouldn't, let's log in here as GitHub. And we shall see what happens. That's the wrong organization. On AppBear, we want to be in here. It looks like we are in a queue, so I'm going to cancel that one. And we will see what's going on in Git version. How many builds has it got going on? Okay, just the 1. So we should be fine. Okay, so assuming that goes through, we should be able to merge it. So let's have a quick look at the changes. Allow update to publish release. Allow, so we've just added that, and added some documentation around it. So I'm going to say that this looks good to me. And then once it's all ready, we can merge it. And then there was one other PR that I want to take a look at, which was this one. Now, the problem with this one being that if I like it just now, it will automatically merge it, and I don't necessarily want that to happen just now. So let's just see what this is doing. That is only bumping those. So this one is good to go, but we'll merge this one once we've merged Arthur's one in. So this is a change to OctoKit. So this is an overall improvement because we are shipping that as part of our release. So we'll add that to this milestone and we'll be good to go. And then if we open this one up, let's see what we are going to bump, because pretty much everything else is going to get bumped. So what have we got in here? Find a way to handle scenarios. Allow management of releases in GitLab. That can get bumped. Document the public API. Sure. Add a GitHub Actions build. Sure. Don't throw immediately if I've stuffed up. That's an ongoing issue that Jeffrey raised. Automatically crediting the author contributor in release notes. That's something I would love to do. VSTS task. I think we're at a point, so that's on me. Arthur's done a ton of work to have tasks for GitReleaseManager and Git version in Azure DevOps. I think there's a task on me to have a play with it. Move unclosed issues. That's something that myself and Kim have spoken about. Can it create empty releases? Yeah. Update GRM to use dependency injection, switch to Spectre. All of these are great, but they can all get bumped. So let's go back to our milestones, because we'd already started fanning them out a little bit. So what we're going to need to do is do this. We'll create a new milestone, which is 13. We will take all of the open issues from 12 and we will move them to 13, like this. Move them all over. And then we will go to our 11 milestone and we will move all of these ones, minus the two that we are away to pull in, which is this one and this one. We will move them to 12. So Arthur's pointing out that it's both Azure DevOps tasks and GitHub actions that he's got now for Git version and GitReleaseManager. And I absolutely need to have a play with that. Remind me later. That's the host machine asking me to reboot. So I've told it no. I'm sort of waiting for this VM to say the same, but hasn't happened yet. So we'll come back to it. If it does go away, it doesn't take long to reboot. So that pull request that Arthur sent in has now built successfully on AppVeyor. So let's go ahead and get this merged then. So that's the issue. Where's the PR? PR. I thought I had the PR open as well. Obviously not. That's down here to the PR. Let's go ahead and get this merged. And we'll say, Arthur, thank you very much for playing. Okay. And then this PR here is Dependabot playing ball, or will we have to give it a kick? Let's do a little rebase on here. Let's grab that, stick this into here, and say comment. That should kick Dependabot into actively updating this one. There it goes. So now it's updating, rebasing the PR. And assuming all of that works, I should be able to run GitReleaseManager on GitReleaseManager, update a set of release notes, and let's get this shipped. So git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream develop, git push origin. And let's see if anybody else was jumping in RCI. Cool. Looks like we're up next. Yep. Okay. So once this PR builds, we should be in a position to merge this one. Then we'll generate a set of release notes. And we'll ship it. So this should allow Arthur to use the workflow that he uses for Git version, whilst not adversely affecting anyone else that's using GitReleaseManager. Their workflow will remain exactly the same. So what else did we actually have in this release? So of the closed issues, not a problem at all. It was on my list of things to do. So a lot of these are Dependabot. In fact, all of these, with the exception of the change that Arthur made, are Dependabot. So we are shipping new versions of a lot of our dependencies. OctoKit seems to have gone through a lot of updates recently. It's had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the new one, 5 updates. There's another one there. So Dependabot's been busy on this repository. Just had a message on Slack. I'm going to have to go and read it. Oh dear. Maurice has just pointed out that we are currently wearing the same t-shirt. So I've got my Hacktoberfest t-shirt on today. So Maurice is sitting wearing the same t-shirt. There we go. Small world. I do like the Hacktoberfest t-shirts, it has to be said. I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of them. And Stevie, I don't know if you're still in the chat room. I'm not ignoring your message on Slack. I wasn't in a position to reply to it earlier. So I'm going to formulate a response for tomorrow morning, if that's okay. I think I know what's going on. Cool. Perfect. So, like I save this. Waiting on CI. So, the next thing, while this is, while we're waiting on that CI, I'm going to have a look at this website. So, there. Oh, all right. So this is ADNUG UK. So it's the Aberdeen Developers.net user group. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but it sounded great when I was formulating it at the time. So I have modified this to now use YAM. Now, the issue that I'm currently having is that because this repository is a github.io repository, it wants the published artifacts, i.e. the website, to live on the master branch. Now, that's different from where I use YAM normally, where I have a gh-pages branch that I publish the actual generated files to. So the recipe that I use for the cake build, because obviously I'm using cake, so not ADD or ABDD, no. ADNUG. So where I've used YAM on other websites, I'm typically pushing to a gh-pages branch. So in the recipe that I use, I've hard-coded the usage of the is master branch and the is develop branch. And those are used as part of the knowing whether or not a publish can happen. So if you're on the master branch, you publish. Now, I'm not on the master branch, but I am on what I want to be the master branch. But because it's hard-coded into the recipe, I can't modify that. So because I can't switch it to build on the master branch, I need to be able to change the recipe. So I've created this. No, I haven't created this website. There it goes. I told you it was going to happen, right? I told you it was going to happen. What I was going to say there was I've created an issue on the YAM recipe repository, which is to allow me to specify what the branch name is for my master branch and for my develop branch. So with that in play, again, nothing should change in any of the other websites that are using the recipe, but on this one, I'll be able to specify that my master branch is my source branch, right? That's the idea anyway. But I'm going to get my VM back, and sounds same procedure as last time. What does that mean? Am I rebooting of the VM or the something else? Sounds like a drink you only have during Christmas. Okay, that's a little bit. Yeah, reboot of the VM. Unfortunately, so as I was saying right at the start, because I haven't done a stream in a long time, it's like almost a month, over a month, I think. It just went up. It's out of date, so I need to rebuild the VM. And I think this time I'm actually going to give it a proper license key because I have one. I just need to remember to put it on. So hopefully this won't happen again. But I need to rebuild it and do it that way. So let's get logged in. And a small play on a show I watch every Christmas. Last procedure as last. I think I follow. I think. Okay, let's get the size of this thing changed a little bit. Let's hope that VirtualBox catches up with me. Come on. Come on. I think it's still booting. There we go. There we go. these are the kind of small adjustments that I make when there's nobody on the stream. But let's make them while everyone's watching. Okay, so back into here. And what we need to do I'm sorry. That'll be all the changing of the milestones. GitHub organizations, adnug UK. So let's see where I am currently. So if I build this, right, I'll show you where we've gone to and from. So let's bring the website back up. So I think we've got about another hour before the machine will reboot again. So this is where we are today. This is the Aberdeen Developers.net user group. And if we go in here, once the build is finished, and don't let me forget that we've got we need to publish our release as well. Don't let me forget that. So let's go github.com/.com, get tools, GitReleaseManager. And let's have a look over here at bear.com. Oh, so that finished. Okay, let's finish this thought process. So YAM is a static website generator. It runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. I use it because it's good at what it does, and I kind of have direct access to the main developer behind it, Dave Glick, because he is part of the Cake team. So if ever anything's wrong with it, I can ask him why I've done something silly. So this is the same website. So I've taken the content from here, which was in, it was all markdown files. Some things were slightly not how YAM liked it, so there was a little bit of translation to happen, but we've gone from this to this, which is essentially the same thing. It's really just a blog site, with the idea being that we have a post when we have an upcoming event with all the information, yada yada yada. We have an about page, we have an archive, and we have tags. So it's nothing special, but we have the ability to add other pages in as well. So it's all functional now. I just need to get it published. So that's where I want to get to. I want to get this published tonight as well, hopefully. But let's go back to this PR and let's get this merged then. So we can do this, and that will then do that. So we're at a position now where I think, let's have another PowerShell window open. Let's make this one smaller as well. Why I'm doing something silly. That was why I am doing something silly, because 9 times out of 10, whenever I've had an issue with YAM, it's not been YAM, it's been me holding it wrong. So I reach out to Dave Glick on Slack and I say, what am I doing wrong? And he's able to tell me the error of my ways, and we get it all sorted out. So git fetch upstream. It did sound probably that's my accent probably more than anything. No, that's not what we want to do at all. Git reset hard. Let's try that again. Upstream develop, not master. Git push origin. That was almost a little bit of a boo boo. Git checkout. I've still got checkout under my finger. I still haven't fixed that. Release 0.11.0 from develop. So here we're going to do a build, and we're going to say target equals release notes. So by doing that, we should generate a set of release notes for 0.11.0. So if we go up to here, and we go up to releases, then hopefully GitReleaseManager kicks in, calculating semantic version. Oh yeah, because now this is doing more. This build is doing more than I kind of expected it to be doing. But GitReleaseManager now dog foods GitReleaseManager as part of its build process. So rather than just using GitReleaseManager, it actually builds GitReleaseManager, uses that built version rather than the published version, and then executes the build. Get a sticky note, write checkout -b on it. On a new line, write switch -c. Now strike out. I could just do a git alias. just allow me to write git checkout, but have it actually do a git switch under the hood. That's what I really need. So now it's getting to the point that I thought it was going to be, which is to create the release notes, but it's now using the most recent version, so we kind of know ahead of time if we've broken anything because the build process uses the latest version. So now if I do a refresh here, we should have a 0, 10, 11, which we do. We've got one feature, which is the one that Arthur added. We have some improvement, which is the bumping of all of our dependencies. So if I go here, git checkout master, okay, fine. Let's do it. Git switch master. What now? Cannot switch branch while rebasing. I wasn't aware that I was rebasing. Git checkout master? No, I'm not doing a rebase. Well, that's a little strange. Not rebasing. Very confused as to what that is. Git merge no ff my release branch. No. I should really check what I'm typing. Okay. So git push upstream. That's not good. I needed to update that. I need to fix this. Let's just check where I'm at. My master here, but upstream master is going to be somewhere else. Upstream master, it's way back there. Fine. Git reset. Hard. Git fetch upstream. Git reset. Hard upstream master. Git push origin. Let's do that merge again. Let's do merge no ff release branch 11. There we go. Git push upstream. I think that should be fine. There we go. Git push origin. Git. Let's see if we can switch back the way. Git switch develop. See, it didn't work there. That's very strange. Git checkout develop. Git merge. This should be a no op. Beautiful. Git branch -d. Release 10 is already gone. Release 11. Git branch. Git branch -d feature. That can go away as well. So first of all, hello, Frank. Couple of things, yes and no. One, I kind of already had the stream in mind. So, okay, backup step. I was meant to be at MVP Summit. Obviously, it got cancelled. So, I haven't taken the week off. So, I'm still at work. So, I was hoping to join some of the streams, some of the MVP Summit stuff today, but I had to go for a dentist appointment, and then I came back, and then I tried to log into Teams, and it didn't work. So there's something I need to fix in there so I can get into stream Teams to allow me to watch it. And I also had the stream in mind. I wanted to get a few things done. So my hope is that tomorrow I will be able to join some of the stuff. But the problem being that some of... I understand that they're trying to account for different time zones, but some of the stuff kicks off right around the time that I'm doing the dad thing, so I'm looking after kiddos. So realistically, no, some of it I won't be able to attend, which is unfortunate. But yeah, them's the breaks, I guess. Them's the breaks. But the intention is to, yes, absolutely be joining in some of the stuff coming out of Summit. I'm guessing that you are involved, or... It doesn't. It makes it more difficult. And I totally get, don't get me wrong, I totally get why it was cancelled. I totally understand all of that. It's just if it's not a dedicated time slot, it's the same when going to conferences. You don't have that time for in-person discussions, roundtables, all that sort of things. So it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So hopefully I'll be able to watch some for the remainder of the week. But I need to figure out how to get back into Teams to start with. It's I'm being flagged as a risky user, and I need to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, no networking release. That's one of the big things. Because some of the best conversations you have at events like that is not necessarily the presentations, which are always good, regardless of what conference you're at. But it's the discussions that you have in the hallways with folks, meeting people in person, meeting folks that you've only ever spoke to on the internets. It's always good doing it in person. But obviously, with the current climate, can't shake hands and things nowadays. So it's, yeah. No, I wasn't involved. I had business at Channel 9 shooting the same week, so I would have seen all of you, but my stuff was cancelled. No, that's a shame. That, in my opinion, was important. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's like, so where are we? We're in 2020, but last year at WinOps, I mean, that's why WinOps was a great event for us, or for me personally, because a good chunk of the chocolate community was there. So I got to meet some folks for the first time, yourself included, Maurice. So it was a great opportunity to meet folks in person, which is always good. Kim saying you can, but with a 10-foot pole. Are we all doing the elbow bump now when we say hello to people, or the foot tap that I've seen some people do as well? They tap feet to say hello. There's who's that dude? No, hand on your chest as a... Oh, hold on. Hand on your own chest as a greeting. Really? I've not seen that one. I've not seen the hand on it. We've been messing around with my eldest. We elbow bump now to say hello. I want to get this one out the door. Get 0.11.0 of GitReleaseManager released, and then we will look at doing the YAM changes. So, Frank, are you based in Redmond, or where are you based? Because are you now working from home as well? Is that... what I understand to be the case now. We're getting close. So if this all succeeds, we'll be able to go to this release on GitHub and click go. So we can go ahead and edit. Oh, it's gone. It's gone green. So I'm going to say that this is good to go. So we'll publish this, and then I'll wait for some notifications to come through on Slack to tell me that it's finished. So now we should be able to come over here and start looking at YAM. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to open up VS Code to here. So this is the source code, source files. It's not really code. These are the source files for the website. So it's literally just a bunch of markdown files. So lots and lots of markdown files. And we've got one recipe.cake file, which is the execution of the cake.ym.recipe, which is here. So what we need is to go up to here and go into cake contrib, and I suspect that I don't have it checked out. So let's go GitHub cake contrib, and in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, we have some foot kissing as a greeting, where you stand across from each other and hit the inside of your left foot, right foot. That's the one I've seen. Yes. So I was joking with my eldest that you tap once, but if you're French, you tap both the right foot and the left foot because it's them doing the whole double kiss. That's what I'm telling her. Yeah, I'm a terrible dad. Cake.ym.recipe. Let's grab this, and we are going to do git clone this guy, but we will clone my fork bit first, which is going to be here. cd into cake.ym. There's a lot of projects in here, so let's do this, and then we're going to do git remote add too many D's upstream this one, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream master, git checkout develop. Is that develop? It looks like that is. Why did it not give me? Rebase upstream develop. Push origin. I'm going to come back to Kim's comment in a second. Get checkout master. Get push origin. It feels like I should have some more. Is there? Get checkout develop again. Okay. The greeting I'm talking about is similar to the following image, but with open palm in a very small. Let's have a look at this. Copy to clipboard. Oh, similar to this, but with an open palm in a very small. Okay. Just like when you would national. Okay. The suggestion here is to stay. See, I've seen some of the photos from Italy, I think, when folks are out shopping. But yeah, there's the queue. Normally you'd see people kind of huddled together in a queue. It's like an orderly procession of a big distance between folks that are in the queue for the shop. Yeah, stuff's getting real, right? So we've got that checked out now. Oh, it's doing stuff. I'm getting lots of notifications through I'm getting lots of notifications through in Slack. If we have a look at this issue, it's now been updated to say that it was included in a release. If we were to go over to Twitter, I'm not seeing anything on Twitter yet. Is it actually finished? Oh, it's still going. That's fine. It's publishing the release packages, and then we should get a tweet to say that it's been released. Wow, look at that. Look at that ASCII art for the win. Beautiful. Gotta love a bit of ASCII art. So it's now pushing to chocolatey. It'll then push to. So is it GitHub release? Has that been finished off? But yeah, I love this feature. This is Kim all over it. This is Kim's edition in GitReleaseManager. Love it. So if we were to go to this milestone, then it should be closed 1 minute ago. And then if we were to go to the release over here, then that release has been updated to include the SHA of the artifacts. So those artifacts are here. And then once this release finishes, publish into chocolatey, it will publish to NuGet. I think I've just got an email through saying that stuff's happened. And then it'll do a publish the documentation. And then if that finishes, it'll do a final publish to Twitter and Gitter to say that everything's ready. So we're getting there. Maybe clean up the change log. See, I saw that, but I mean, it's still. So to me, it's still. I know. I don't know how I feel about it. I saw this. I saw the same thing, Kim. But it's. Should we just include the last one? I genuinely don't know. I mean, they've all been included in the release. Maybe it's something we should look at for the next one to only include the one. But I mean, it just shows the iteration of these things. So it also shows where we were before and where we've come to. So if nothing else, we should maybe put this one and this one on a single line. But that's a small point. Right, that's a small point. Right. So where I wanted to get to was could be edited with the earliest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, similar idea. Right. So right now, if we go down here and we look at parameters.cake, then in here, if we search for develop and we spell it right, then there is a direct comparison to both the master and the develop branch. Now this is currently causing me a problem. Couldn't be shown in a single line. But no reason the different PRs couldn't be shown in a single line. I see what you're saying. Yes, just to commingle them, so it's like number, comma, number, comma, number. We could definitely do something like that. So if I do a search here for any hard coding of the word develop, I'm hoping it's only in one place, which is there. If we do the same for master, it's only there. Right, cool. So what I'm going to do, and I'm hoping that someone's going to shout at me if it doesn't make sense, but what I want to be able to do is I want to say master branch name, and that is going to default to master. And I'm going to have another one that is develop branch. Name is going to be develop, right? So I'm going to grab one of these and paste this into here. And I'm going to say, I need a public property up here that I can make use of as well. So let's grab this one. And we're going to say master branch name. we're gonna say develop branch name, and then down here we're gonna say master branch name. I'm gonna take this and put it over here. This one's quite close. This is gonna be develop branch name. And then down here, where we are doing this stuff, we're going to say develop branch name equals that. And I'll change this to be master branch name. Change this to be master branch name. Okay. So the idea here is, rather than doing a comparison to the hard-coded master, we're going to do it to the master branch name. And rather than doing a hard-coded comparison, we're going to use the develop branch name. So that should allow me to pass in an additional branch name when I'm not using master as the master branch. Make sense? Now, did we get a tweet? Did a tweet go out? It says it finished. Sending message to Twitter. Did I just miss it? Oh, I saw one. There's a GitHub message went out. And did it go out? Oh, it's there. I'm gonna like that one, and I'm gonna retweet it. Okay, cool. So that went out. So we can close that one out. We can close that one out. Did that work? Okay. So over here, I think that's all we need to do, right? I think. So we allow the setting of the parameter as part of our call to set parameters. We list out what they are currently being used as. And the default is master and develop. So I think that's it. Am I missing anything? That seems a little bit too easy, but so this is 62. GH62. Allow changing of branch names. Some repositories don't use the default names of master and develop for their branches. It should be possible to configure these names rather for them to be hard coded in the recipe. How many is that? Right, sorry. So I'm going to commit that, and I'm just gonna YOLO it. I'll be honest. Git push upstream. And now, do I still have that going out to my Git? I wonder. I think I do. So we'll switch organizations. We're finished in the Git tools repository, so let's go over to the Git contrib repository. And we should have a cake.ym.recipe building, git push origin. And if this works and so Maurice is saying the issues that were updated with the issue has been resolved in version 11, changes in the issues stay in archived in Ghostly. Yeah, it probably would. No, is there not a setting? Is there not a setting to bring it back when there's changes? I seem to remember Patrick discussing something along those lines. Is there not check the settings to see if there's anything in that area? I'm going to grab this version number. Missed it. I'm going to grab this version number if I can get my mouse to work with me. Copy. So if I go back over to this one and I say version number that with that, and where did I push it to? I pushed it to here. Copy. So rather than it being NuGet, let's put this in here as myGet, and let's make sure that we haven't broken anything. So let's have another PowerShell window open. Oh, maybe's. I remember it being spoken about. Add option. Maybe. Add option to automatically mark updated archived items as read. When you archive. No, see, that's the opposite. Would be nice if I could set an option to automatically mark updated. See, that would suggest that archived items, when they're updated, come back into the inbox. That sounds like the inverse of what you're seeing. Unless I'm missing something. Adnug UK. So now if I do a build again. Oh, what's Kim opening up? Kim, what are you doing to me? Issues. Oh, I see what you did. Good man. Currently, I'm complete. It'd be nice to have the ability to completely change the template used if a user wants to have a different format. I prefer a different kind of format for each release note item or what is currently used by. Possible to handle with an external template. That's not a small undertaking, that one. It's not a bad idea. Oh, what did that do? That keyboard combination is not what I wanted. Oh, I see, Maurice. Yeah. That's a related issue then. Oh, why did that fail? That's not good. That's not good at all. What have we done? just feels like I've broken something. Should I need that? Might be that. But I like the idea of having handlebars to do something. Yeah. I don't dislike the idea. It's just, it's not a small undertaking. But let's make sure that it didn't break anything here. And here we're using master and develop, which is what we're expecting because they're using the defaults. But if we let this finish and that is just a setup. But if we go back to our build here and say master branch name, here we should be able to put in source. No, makes perfect sense, Kim. Yeah. It's always better to capture things like that while you think about them. Because, yeah, the amount of times I've done that, had a genius idea and then forgotten about it. That happened recently. And then Paul ended up stealing credit for my idea because I hadn't put in it anywhere. I came up with the idea before Paul, like months before, but it wasn't documented anywhere. So he claimed credit for the idea. I'm not bitter at all in any way, shape, or form. Stevie will back me up if he's still there. Okay, so now that we have the master branch there, I think it'll work. So the question is, do I want to publish YAM recipe or should I just use the beta version? I had to work to 3 and I beat. Good night, Maurice. Have a good one. Stay safe, man. I'm going to use the pre-release version. So I'm going to say that this is related to the issue that I was working with. Build with pre-release version of recipe. And if it works, I will publish out a new version of YAM. So let's do this. And let's push this guy. So git push. Let's just make sure that that's need in. Git push upstream. Oh, there's no upstream. Git push origin. Right. So over here, duplicate. Let's go into another organization. I think there's such a thing as too many GitHub organizations, and I think I have them. But if this works, it should attempt to publish the website to the master branch. And if that happens, then what is currently here should be replaced with what's there. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see where we get to. So we'll know quite quickly if it's. We should have checked that output. So it's using the master branch there as source. So it's done that bit. That part's worked. So when it comes round to doing the publish, oh, it's already here. It skipped this one before. Oh, that looks like it changed a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's duplicate that. Let's go over to our add nug repository again. Let's see what is done on the master branch 25 seconds ago. Okay. That looks good, I think. Is that you commenting on an issue, Kim, or is that someone else? GitHub.com, GitReleaseManager. Okay, a small example of such a template could perhaps be okay. I see where you're going. Now, if I refresh this. Oh, okay. That seemed to work. Okay. You see, it didn't do this though. That I have to look into. I think I might have broken discuss. But I also don't really know why. Because I thought I put the discuss code in there. Come back to, so the main website is there. So the about page is here. Mailing list. Subscribe to the. Got the archive. Got all the stuff in it. Got the tags. Okay. But discuss is broken. Okay, but for now, I think we can say that this one is done. So I can close that. 090 milestone only had the one thing in it. So let's get that closed off. So I'm fairly sure it was working on the old site. So I will need to dig into that. Because unfortunately I can't just say but I would like to say that. So it was 090, right? Yes, it was. So let's do build. Let's finish the build. Target equals release notes. Let's get this part finished off and update the. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, this is an old version. I should update the bootstrapper on this. It's a job for a different day. What's that do? Oh, there we go. 090 beta. Okay, cool. Get check out master. Get merge OFF. Release 0. Get push upstream. Get push origin. Get check and develop. Check and develop. Get merge branch that, git branch -d, release that, git branch development master. Cool. Okay. So assuming that that goes out, I should then be able to walk up to this and get that release shipped. Okay, I think this is actually, this change that I've made here, Kim, I think this is something we should probably put into Cake.recipe as well at some point, because not everyone uses master and develop there. Some folks have a dev branch or a main branch, so having that ability to specify those branch names in Cake.recipe I think makes sense too. But I don't know if it is it? I was just going through my head that something must be there, because Cake itself uses a main branch. But I think I went and checked this last night, and I didn't see it. Parameters. Oh, look at that. Huh. I've been here before. I was convinced I still had a hard-coded develop in there, but no, you're right, it is there. So we've now done the exact same thing in Cake.recipe. So, that's very curious. But let's publish this one so that we can get this release out the door. And then we might take a stab at some of the issues with regard to Discuss. So anyone on the stream familiar intimately with Discuss? It was I saw it as well. It's on the default the default edit URL for YAM. So it assumes that the develop branch is the main branch. I think, if I remember correctly, it's a default value, so you can still override it if you need it to, but the default value assumes develop. So hopefully this will ship. Publishing my get, publishing new get 090, publishing the GitHub release. All of that worked. Publish documentation. Didn't that. So we can like and retweet that one because it just went out. That's maybe a good idea. Did you want to create an issue for that? While we remember about it, as we discussed earlier. Okay, so now we've done that. We can update this guy to let's put that back. Let's cut that and undo all of these changes to put it back to that one, and let's do that. Okay, and we'll say GH-27 update to latest release of recipe. Save that and get push origin. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this issue and I'm going to say that we are currently working on this. And I'm going to add a comment. There's about a few commits here. And I'm going to say this is the other person that I work with on Aberdeen Developers. This is almost complete. This, throw my mouse away. This work is almost complete. There is just a few outstanding items that need to be addressed. I am going to update the issue with a checklist of things that need to be looked at. Can you take a look over the new site and let me know if you have any comments? Okay, so we did that. Back up to the top. I'm going to edit this issue with a checklist. The checklist is going to be here. So I'm going to add in the things that I've already done. Analytics code. Copy, paste, and discuss code. Search and replace for WPDM. Search and replace for silver slide. So some of these issues are specific to the content of the website. So some of the posts on the website use old ways of doing things, and those don't work anymore, so they need to be removed from the site. Search and replace contact page. This page has now been removed. Search and check all shortened URLs at nuguk.me. Check CNAME on generated content. I've already done that one, but we'll mark it off. Get up here, build, working, and publishing. New site, that one's done too. Add read me, add read me. Just getting tired. With information on how to build. Did that one. Check. Discuss is working, which is not. Add links to Twitch and YouTube. Do blog post about new site. And switch site over to use one. Okay, update. So we did that one, did that one, did that one. Now I'm fairly sure that this one, oh, why did that fail? I'm wondering if that just, can I rebuild that? I wonder if the package wasn't published. I'm hoping that's all it was. hoping that's all it was. Otherwise, I've broken something. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I was checking the CNAME property, so if I switch to the master branch, then there should still be a CNAME file here, which is there. Cool. I'm not ignoring you, Kim. I'm just going to finish this and come back to what you're saying. So that one, get up there, build working, and publish a new site. Add README, which we did. Why is that not coming back? Why is that not saying? Why is it not taking that value? Content. Stop it. Add README. Yep, did that one. There we go. Okay, cool. So, let's have a look. I have a faint memory that archived old posts didn't show up with the same URL that was used when it was latest. Not sure if I misremember though, or if that was fixed. That was your personal blog. So there's definitely an issue. There is an issue in and around that area. Now, the main issue that could be happening, so if we close this guy, then let's go back to let's use this one. Let's get Gary Short's one. This one didn't used to live here. It used to live here. But I've got a 301 redirect in place to take it to the new page. So my hope was that anything that was discuss related should have been fixed, but it maybe isn't. So we might have to go in and discuss admin page and have a wee look. So therein lies the question. What's my account? I'm going on my other screen just to see if I can figure out. So I have a different problem on Discuss on my site. Now, so this one, too many images. That's a different issue. Now, I thought it would be a great idea to enable content security policy on gep13.co.uk. Now, in doing that, I have prevented the loading of the Discuss JavaScript onto the page because it violates coming from the content security policy that I put in place doesn't allow the loading of external JavaScript on the page. That I know about. I just need to fix it, right? But that's a different issue. This one, I think, is different. Ah, there goes my machine. But hold on. Oh, is there? Okay. So let's go. So they are manifesting themselves as the same issue. I agree. But I don't think they are the same issue. I think they're different. So I'm going to have a quick look in I'm going to try logging in to the site to see if there's anything obvious that I've broken. So let's sign in here while my VM is booting up. And let's see what it says. Admin. Hey, admin UK. Moderate comments. Okay. This doesn't make me feel... Oh no, hold on. Okay. So there are some. Okay. I was gonna say that it's fine. There aren't any comments at all on the website, but there are some. So we need to figure out what's going on so that we can add, so we can get it working. Oh, interesting. I'm fairly sure it's the same issue. It's a different issue. But I also haven't been back to look at that particular problem in a while. So it could be that they're now manifesting themselves differently. But I was just checking the Discuss portal for the AdNug site to see if there was anything that I'm doing wrong. So, site configuration? Give your site organization name. Let's look at this one. How do I find out? How do I find out what the code and things are? Edit settings. How do you even find the sharing code for... I know there is a code. There's a code for there's a code that gets added in. And if we go over here and look at AdNug, then if we look in the source code and do a search here for discuss, then YAM has the concept of a discuss.js. Oh, now hold on. No, it must be there because it's attempting to load it in. So I added this discuss short name as this guy. Now what I don't see is, oh, it's right there. Your website short name is Aberdeen Developers Net User Group, which is what that is. So what does this tell me? Oh, I clicked the troubleshooting guide, but it didn't do anything. Is there anything in the console to indicate that there's a problem? There's 5 errors on the page. Oh, hold on. Let's refresh. Let's clear these out and refresh this page. So I'm not worried about that one. No. You allow any origin. There's definitely something. I enabled some. I distinctly remember doing it, and I thought this is a great idea. But I never came back to it. Okay, so let's just check to make sure there's nothing I want to discuss in general. How much time have we got left? We've got like 10 minutes left before I'll need to. I never discusses loaded on the page. Blah, blah, blah. So you see the same, that there's nothing preventing the script from being loaded. Is that what you're saying? Found non-ASCII characters. Okay. This doesn't fill me with confidence that the status page isn't loaded. Yeah, that doesn't fill me with confidence. Are you getting the same as that, Kim? Where else do we use discuss? We use discuss on Chocolatey. Is it working at all? It's there. Okay. So it's there. But the status page is broken. But discuss in general appears to be working because it's working there. Trusted domains are sites which you want your forum shortening to load on and are set within your admin panel. Website you are. Oh, hold on. Could it be that? Could it be as simple as that? Hold on. No. Okay. So it's not that. So that's something I need to enable. Hold on. Let's do that while we remember. GitHub.com/ edit that over here as well. HTTPS. Better. Where's that issue? Let's take a note to do here. Here. Force cloud flare to redirect to HTTPS. Okay. Okay, so on that, let's just check that. So I'll look at the source view page source, and so I'll look for discuss. This thing here has got Aberdeen Developers Net user group. Okay, so that's there. Discuss create element and child. So those are the only ones that mention discuss. So do we see any requests going out to discuss? Let's maybe refresh this page again. So it's got JavaScript, it downloads it. But did it then make the request out for if I'm reading that right, it should then make a request to here. Unless I am missing something. Yeah. So it said it was Aberdeen Developers Net User Group. So that's there. But I don't see that request going out over here. Oh no, hold on. Embed.js. Headers. Oh, it did look. It went out. So we got it, and the response is that the same as what we've got here? There's a lot of text in there, but it looks like it's there. So let me just check something. I've got a. I don't think I did it, but let me. Let me log in here and check something. And this might want a password. No, I haven't put them in. But if I go here and I look at page rules, no, not page rules. What was the? Oh, it was a worker that I added. Yeah, I added something into here. It was this. I see it. I did a bunch of stuff in here, which then what did I do? Did I add that into this one as well? Let me just roll that out. Workers. No, I didn't add it in. Okay. You're using Razor syntax in the JavaScript file. Which one are you referring to? You mean in here? So where I got this, so I actually saw that earlier, but if you look, the only one that's being used the discuss identifier isn't being used, the title isn't being used, and the URL isn't being used. The only one that's being used is the short name. Now I got this discuss.js from Mr. Glick. So I don't think there's anything using that, because if you look at here, discuss underscore, it is possible that it's used in now. Well, that's definitely possible. Discuss underscore branding container ID thread config. And you see it's getting into funny things. I mean, it's certainly a possibility. But that's a good question. I may have to get Mr. Glick involved to see if he can provide some insight as to what's going on here. Because see, my concern was that I'd broken the URL. So although that there are comments, they're not associated with the page anymore. They've been moved. But based on what I'm seeing, it's just not loading at all. It's not even getting to that point. But I'm also looking at the copy clipboard. Adding discuss or any other comments just to your blog is easy. Discuss code in every blog. Post footer is probably the best place to put it. Add the following. So I think that's what I had. So, okay, ignore that part. But if we go to post footer is here. So has this been, oh, there's more stuff in there now. I mean, I'm certainly up for testing this. So if we were to go in here and let's go up here. Let's give it a try. Input. Post footer. Edit. Paste. You know what they say. What could go wrong, indeed. What did we say the short name was? I've already forgotten. Machine. Copy. Paste. Aberdeen developers. User. Discuss identifier. Blah blah blah. Discuss title. Blah blah blah. Let's give it a try. GH27. Euro. ci.appbear.com. Close this out. And if this works, I mean, maybe what I need to do is do this on my own website as well. Because maybe. This. You can go away. You can go away. Let's see. If this works, I can remove the discuss.js because I don't need that anymore. And this will be the last thing before signing off for the night, because it's getting to that sort of time. Personally, I don't like embedded JavaScript inside the HTML file. I think that's why Oh. You have triggered a memory, my friend. That. So, on my website, because of the things that I was trying to do, so one of the things I was trying to do, or one of the things I was trying to add, oh my goodness, I'm going to cast my mind back. One of the things that I was trying to do wasn't allowing the addition of, or it wasn't allowing the inlining of JavaScript on the page. It had to do it from an external file, because that external file could then be checksummed. So you could provide a checksum for the file to know that it hadn't been manipulated. So I think I may have attempted to remove the inline JavaScript into a standalone file, and by doing that, I then broke discuss without knowing it because of the Razor syntax. Checksummed and correctly cached, yes. So I may have inadvertently broken discuss, and when I pulled it over from my blog into Aberdeen Developers, it was also broken. So now by going back to this, it might. Let's give it a little try. Dang it. Okay, so that's a great shout by you, Kim, too. And sorry, hello Stevie, welcome back. Let me go back to find out where a comment is to see if those comments are now working. So if we go here and we go to see, that doesn't seem like it worked. +1 to you, indeed. Wrong keyboard shortcut. Task. April 2012. Meeting. This one. This one should have a comment on it, but it doesn't. There is a way of changing the URL for a comment. Redirect crawler. So I've just set a crawler to be active. So it's saying Discuss is now crawling all of the pages currently associated with your threads. Discuss will follow 301 redirects and update the threads to be associated with the new URLs. This may take up to 24 hours to complete. So I added, because if I go here, that's the URL the comment was associated with. I have a 301 redirect to this page now. So in theory, once this crawler finishes, I may end up seeing comments here where it isn't currently showing them. Okay, so I think that's it then. So Discuss might be working, but we'll come to that. But yeah, it's now at least publishing the site, which is the main thing. So this wasn't working before, and now it is, which is a good start. Okay, so that's it from me just now. I will potentially be doing a stream on Friday lunchtime, depending on how things are going at work and whether or not I have small people in the house because of schools being closed, etc. So for now, I am going to say farewell to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for coming along. I hope this was useful. This wasn't really a stream where we did much dedicated programming. It was more tidying up a few of my things on my to-do list, but it certainly helped me. So that's good for me. I hope it was useful. And I shall say that's it. And Kim, while I remember, I hope that your parcel that I sent you arrives and that gets to where it needs to be. And that I've got one remaining parcel, which is the one that going to Australia, which I think might take slightly longer. But hopefully that will arrive safely as well. Right, that's it from me. I shall speak to you all on the internet. Talk to you later.